Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Golf Bag Podcast. This is episode 2 for this week, the 2026 Masters. I got a special guest to join us today, Sam Sherman. You guys probably don't hear a lot from him because he's kind of behind the scenes and he lurks around. From what I've gathered, Sam likes to lurk around and get the tidbits and then go hide and make his money. He's hit like 6 outrights this year already, but I'll let him do a little warm introduction. He's been around the industry for quite a while, one of the sharper guys that I know and have DMs open with. So appreciate Sam hopping on to do this special show. So Sam, how's everything going?
It's going great. I appreciate you having me on. It's been a while since I was in the podcast game. Yeah, I worked for a long time with DFS Karma. I don't know if they're around anymore, but I used to run all their back end stuff. And I started actually writing a master's article for them years ago when everyone was writing those, and they still are. So yeah, I'm excited to be on. This is the best week of the year. And yeah, with the outrights, I mean, I think I peaked too early. Like you need to peak for Augusta. I think I peaked too early, but we'll see.
How many have you hit? 5, 6?
I think at 5, and I've hit a couple first round leaders. Yeah, I mean that run from TBC's like with Goddard up to Nico and like when Shane choked, that was just cream of the crop.
Yeah. So things are working out in your favor.
Yeah, man.
Which is good to see. I had a this was small, but like on shitty weeks you have like little things to grasp onto. And I had as sad as it sounds, I had a 555 ticket. Everything else was probably breaking even at best and probably going to lose money on the week. And there was a 555 ticket that if it swung the right way, I could at least like squeak out a net profit for the week. And Putnam completely became an idiot on 18. And I thought I was out of it, like down. It was like a 12 or 14 point swing. And then the guy ahead of me was like 8 points ahead and he had Fitzpatrick and Olsen. I was like, well, there's no, like I had one guy left. He wasn't going to make birdie. There's no way. Somehow we tied. Like of all the outcomes, somehow we tied. And I felt like it was the Honda finish.
Yeah, my thing has been DFS this year is I feel like it used to be, a couple years ago, even definitely several years ago, was getting a 6 of 6 was like, oh, it's just a matter of how much money I'm printing. And I've had like a 6 of 6 this past week that was like the worst 6 of 6 of all time. And so that's just not even enough anymore. It's a good 6 of 6.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed.
Yeah, 6 of 6 has been tough. Of course, my battery's running low. This is good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to let hang on, Sam. I got to pause this. 1 second.
We're good.
All right, we're back. Sorry about that. My battery went just completely tanked. I think we were talking about Shane Lowry tanking, and then it caught the bug. So, so yeah, we were talking about 6 of 6s. We can hopefully get a few more this week because the cut is a little bit more advantageous to us with a limited field of 82 or however many guys, and they're cutting to top 50. So 6 of 6s should be a little bit better, but that also makes it difficult for the big milli maker, especially 430,000 entries or whatever.
Yeah,
obviously there's a lot of overlap, and then even the $100 is going to be some overlap with what kind of builds we get into. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to pull up. I got a couple of things we can look at, but I'll pull up FGB Studio or the field. I guess the Studio because it's got pricing, and we're just going to walk through like the expensive guys. So my thought, and I'll let Sam talk about this too. Generally speaking, the decision points are really on the top guys on either, and I've written about this all year as far as like Scotty. I think Scotty's been at the right price and the right ownership where you could probably, unless you had a really strong feel, you could just match the field and move on with your process or your day. I think you can waste a lot of time on the cheap guys, and that's probably where I spent the least amount of time. There's more time to be spent there this week for the Masters, but generally speaking, you're getting like, guys in 10% or less of your lineups, and you're kind of spreading it out depending on how many lineups you play. But for the expensive guys, this is really where you make, drastic decisions. You don't want 10% of every single guy over 9K. You got to be careful if you want to take a stand of having 60% of one guy. Obviously, you want him to play well, but that eats into opportunity from someone else playing well. So, in my opinion, these expensive guys are really where, obviously, one, we have the most data. We have the most to go off of. So we have very good resources to make educated decisions. So I don't know, Sam, if you agree with that, but like, generally speaking, I don't think the expensive guys really make or break. I think there's just more to go off of, make decisions that matter on these expensive guys versus spending, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours looking at the 6K guys, and then you end up just spreading them out anyways.
Yeah, I agree in that people, I think they're so concerned about, just take this field like having, 50% Bryson and 50% Xander, and then you all of a sudden you end up with these low 7K guys and you have way, way more, Alex Noren than you ever should have. And I know that happens to me, but to your Scotty point, I guess I'll go right there. What do you think Scotty is? What do you think about him this week? I mean, I'll give my 10 seconds. This is not news.
Yeah.
I think the whole stuff about him playing poorly is laughable. I think it's like, I was talking to my dad, call it a casual golf fan, watches every tournament. It's because Scotty is not finishing the top 5, the perception that he's playing poorly. I'm not sure I totally agree with that, but if people are going to skip that and now he's more expensive than he was last year and there's Bryson and Rahm, I'm curious if we're actually maybe going to finally get quote unquote a discount on Scotty, or if it's going to be the same old 30% and you just kind of move on.
I think you do get a discount.
Yeah.
I don't remember what he was priced here last year. We used to have our salaries up here. I got to rejoin.
I think he was like 12.4, 12.5, something like that.
Yeah, so considerably less expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think generally speaking in Augusta, and honestly for most majors anyways, people tend to gravitate towards balanced builds. My first gut, if I was going to hand build anything, is skipping Scotty.
Yep.
Starting with Rahm or anybody around 10K. And you're getting more, in my opinion, more like top 5 equity with those, mid 8K or low 9K plus guys. So yeah. I do think we're probably in the territory, and this is probably a perfect storm. Because if you think about this, if this was Scotty and he was playing, I don't know, what's a shitty event coming up? If he was somehow playing the 3M and he's 14K, then everyone's just going to play Scotty at 50% and then figure out the random guys that no one wants to play anyways. But in a field like this, obviously a good field, plenty of course history for people to go off of. I think the balanced build is going to be a benefit if you want to play Scotty. So like, again, I guess to that point of matching the field, maybe 27% isn't matching the field anymore. This week it's going to be closer to 18 or 20 maybe.
And I think that makes it that much more interesting. I mean, we don't need to say why he's a good play, but I mean, 20% is probably too little.
Yeah. And I mean, the only downside, in my opinion, of playing him doesn't even have to do with Scotty himself. Like it would be because you had to play, I don't know, 2 6K guys that then you're just trying to get lucky with the right 6Ks that, finish in the top 10, basically, depending on what contest you play, obviously.
Yeah. And if you take it a step further, that, if you look at I'm looking at my mouse, you have 41 guys in the 6K range. I'd say there's probably maybe 8 to 10 are playable. That might be high. So, everyone's going to fall to the same guys. So exactly to your point is, okay, when you play Scotty, are you then prepared to play what'll probably get a steamed up Sam Stevens, or steamed up Nick Taylor, or what have you? So I think that's exactly right. Is it doesn't matter that you're playing Scotty, it matters the rest of your lineup around him.
It does, for sure. And I think the ownership and chalkiness conversation is different in the 6Ks than talking about, Scotty or anybody over 9K. Like any of those guys, that's 20 to 30%. And, people talk about all the time. Like you can play chalk. You just got to be careful of who you play with them. I think the chalk in the 6K range is completely different because, an 18 or 20% owned, I don't know if any of the 6K guys are going to get there. But like, that's a completely different conversation where I would say, oh, I saved ownership with Scotty. So that means I can eat some chalk in the 6K range. And I would actually disagree with that. I would say you still need to be not different because you played Scotty. I think you just need to be different in the 6K regardless. There's just so much volatility. So yeah, I mean, depending on where his ownership is, I think Scotty's really interesting. You kind of talked about how his perception, I guess the perception of the public for how bad he has been. And you're 100% right. Like if he's not finishing in the top 5, frankly, if he's not even in contention, let's just say like he could backdoor top 5, and I think people would still think he sucked, which they kind of did at the WM Phoenix and AT&T Pebble Beach. All these other ones, he's not in the conversation at all. People just kind of write him off. It's basically a miscut to Scotty Scheffler in most people's mind, I think, at this stage. So yeah, I mean, he has not been great, but he has not been as bad and like completely falling off a cliff. So he's been kind of keeping it together, and it just doesn't take much. You get something to click. You're going back to some place you're comfortable, obviously. I'm not low on Scotty for sure. I think the price is definitely inhibitive, but you're going to get a benefit from the ownership, which is definitely not for nothing.
So does that mean you're taking the $2,400 discount with Rory McIlroy? 2025 Masters champion Rory McIlroy.
I'm not. No.
It's funny. We're on the same page, and everyone else. It seems like no one wants Rory. Like, despite, and I'm the same way. I mean, he had the back thing, but then he came out whatever week that was after, and he didn't play well, but it was not the driver. It was pretty sure it was the putter. So it's like, I don't know. I get it's hard to go back to back. He's not in dominant form like he was last year, but it's interesting that you and I agree. Like, we don't really want it.
Yeah, I feel like he's still going to get some ownership, a pretty considerable amount.
Definitely.
I just feel like it's a letdown spot. Same with Justin Rose. I feel like when we get to that point, I have the same feeling, I guess. Like Rose has a win this year, but outside of that win, he really hasn't been great. So yeah, I don't see myself. I'm certainly not playing Rory in single entry. We'll see what his ownership comes in at or close to. I mean, I reserve the right to probably play a few in the Millie Maker or something. And if he's like 11%,
then I'm like, okay, that's too low.
Because I do think, I mean, if we're going to talk about the highest owned, like I know we're going down the list here. I mean, Rahm's going to be top 3 highest owned in this entire tournament.
I've got to say Rahm and Xander probably, right? 2 of the top 3.
I'm stuck on Xander. I'm stuck on Xander a little bit just because of the price, and with Aberg right above him, I feel like Aberg gets it. I don't really care about him not closing on Sundays. I think people look at the course history, and Xander isn't bad either. But I just think if they can get to him, and that's where it's just a really weird pricing. I mean, Jon Rahm 10K, 9,800, 9,600. I think people can click Rahm first. They don't have enough to get to either Xander or Aberg. But if they did, they could just get to Aberg.
Well,
the way people build.
Do you think it gets spread? I mean, it's so if I look at these top 6, top 7, I'm probably not going to play Bryson. I just never do. He's always popular. I just probably won't. And then Aberg, again, he's popular. I love Aberg, but I just would rather play Xander and Colin. Who the fuck no? I don't really want to risk that. And if I was playing 150, which I don't normally do, I think Colin would be a really smart play because there's just no way his ownership gets that high. But I don't think I can do it unless it's MME.
I think it's around 5%, Dan. I think it's super, super low. And
I mean, dude, if he had not pulled out from Valero, I'd feel completely different.
But everyone would. And that's the trick.
Yeah.
The perception of, and we all fall into the same boat. Like had he played, it would have been a catch-22, right? I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth, but like if he had played, and let's just say he made the cut, finished T22, had some decent numbers posted from it. Now you feel really good about him at 9,500. So does everybody else, and he's probably top 10 most owned, maybe top 5. I'm not sure, depending on how well he played.
And then I want to fade him because he's over-owned.
Exactly. So this is like, I don't know. It's uncomfortable, but like it is uncomfortable. If I had to make one lineup, I wouldn't pick him. But if I had to pick one lineup in the 400K Millie Maker, I would play him over, Xander 15% higher owned or something like that. Well, if he's 5%, I think that would be like, that's your one shot right now.
Do you think in that range, because, okay, I am I almost never play Fleetwood just because he never really wins. But I mean, with Cam Young, who I love, and everyone else does too, and Xander right there, does Fleetwood end up squeezed at all? Or is he just too popular? He just is so popular as a player. No, it's like Xander. They never actually get, or Finau. They never actually get squeezed.
Yeah, I'm not sure on Fleetwood. I'm not super high on him because of what you just said. The win equity it
just
seems a
low.
lot lower. And honestly, he hasn't really been great here. Like all these guys, I kind of talked about that on my solo yesterday as far as course history, but like everyone pops for like a decent course history. But like honestly, if you consider where he's probably in the top 15 of most years, maybe not back to 2018. But like those aren't really good. It'd be like, the hero and you got a 20-man field and you finish T12, you're still finished worse than half the field. So, a T3, okay. Outside of that, none of this is really going to do much for you unless you're playing cash or something, maybe.
No, and I know that like it was exciting to watch him get that win last year. But again, these were not in contention wins. These are backdoor. I mean, T14, he was never in the tournament thing. So I agree with that. I mean, are you in on Cam Young chalk? Out on Cam Young chalk?
I'm out. I'm out on my first, I guess, inclinations. When you say chalk, what do you think he's going to come in at? 23?
Yeah, 20 to 23. I don't think he gets more owned than. Like, I don't think he's more owned than. He might be more on the Xander. Just the perception of that discount.
I feel like what helps Cam. It's so tough with the casuals this week because there's a lot that come out of the woodwork and they're not paying attention week to week, and they'll look and say, "Wow, this guy won 3 weeks ago a big tournament." Okay. I feel like it helps his case that he hasn't played because everyone was complaining, like, why would you not play in the 2 weeks prior?
I don't.
And I don't think that's a big win. He was playing well into there. I don't think it's a big deal to go not play Houston and not play the Valero Texas Open, in my opinion. Like, I think you can get prepared fine. I mean, when no one's bitching about Scotty and no one's complaining about, Morikawa withdrew for different reasons, but like there's plenty of guys that are coming in and they're not treating him with that same they're not treating them with that same level of animosity, I guess, of like, wow, he didn't play, so I don't know what he's going to do.
Well, I mean, it'd be different than not seeing, like, yeah, exactly. Like, he's playing well. It's like, if I had not seen, like, okay, Ben Griffin has not been playing well this year, obviously, based on after last year. If he takes 3 weeks off, I'm like, well, I don't like that.
For sure.
Time, and that's so different than someone like Cam Young has been on a tear. But maybe people overrate the miscut stuff. I mean, course history is unbelievably important, but people, I hope, see that miscut and like, oh, well, can't play there. So. Same player as he was last year.
Let's see.
But I think also with Cam Young, they're just around him. It's like you drop right below. Justin Rose and Patrick Reed are clearly overvalued. So it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, most of these guys, this is an old tool that I just haven't archived, but it shows their course history and then has their recent form. It's not the prettiest, but you can see all these top guys going off of salary are, Aberg, Fleetwood, Schauffele played at the Valspar. Everybody else has not played for 3 weeks. So it's just weird to single him out after a win when none of these other guys played as well. I mean, obviously Bryson's not going to be able to play, or neither is Rahm, but I mean, still Scotty, Rory, Morikawa out for different reasons. Rose, I mean, going on down the list, there's not many guys that were coming in with great form that also played any of those events, which I just don't think they help you much.
Well, and how do you? This is probably going too subjective. One thing I think about is with like Lud, and okay, you can't close on Sundays, whatever. That T5 is so different than a T5 for, I don't know who was in the, like, Sam Stevens coming out of the work getting a T5. Like, he had those tournaments kind of in it. Like, is that a good T5 or is that a bad T5? It's like, I don't know how to, like, Lud.
His mentality or for us?
I guess both. For his mentality, I think bad. For our mentality, what do we make of that? I mean, he was ball striking so well until the back nine yet again.
Yeah, but I mean, it's bad until it's not. I don't take. Yeah, I mean, until I don't know of a good example. I guess. Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I mean, you put yourself in positions long enough.
Yeah.
It would seem like he's going to come get across the line. You don't just say all of a sudden because of 2 finishes that this guy can't finish. I mean, he's obviously finished before, and he's just having a tough time for whatever reasons. So yeah, I mean, I don't put much thought into it or much stock into that, to be honest.
Yep.
I mean, it's obviously not good, but if he's in the top 3 on Sunday at Augusta, then yeah, I would probably have an uneasy feeling after his last couple Sundays, but that doesn't mean he can't close it out still. It's not like that's going to be forever.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a bad finish for any of these. I mean, his finishes are great, though. T3, T5, T5. And he's just, debacles at the players and just did not do anything well. Was he +1 through 11 or something yesterday?
Yeah, something like that. It seems like he makes these like 2 big numbers. It's like a Lowry situation. It's like he makes these weird double crosses. He makes double,
which is weird for a guy that's supposed to be a robot.
Oh my god, he looks robotic like 99% of the time.
What's funny though is if you go back to him to start the season off, everyone thought he sucked.
Oh yeah, because like the illness and he was not good anymore, and yeah.
The Farmers missed the cut. T37 at Pebble. I mean, that's just like the recency bias. And like all these guys, honestly, the margins are so thin anyways. I don't tell many people that because they don't want to hear it. But I mean, it does not take much for anybody to just show up one week. I mean, we just saw Sam Ryder shoot 60 in a Monday qualifier, then finish T5 or whatever he did.
Oh yeah, you're thinking about the margins. If people like, I think it would break their brain. As much as just mine, where it's like you look at Data Golf's rankings. Like, do you realize sometimes it's like 1.46 versus 1.44? That is real tight.
Yeah, all these. Let's see if I have it up. Yeah, I mean, you could see.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, all these are going to be super small. Like even our rankings are the same way. Yeah, we actually have Rom ahead right now. Ours uses a little bit more recency bias.
That's what I've been hearing. Best player in the world in 2026.
Yeah, no comment. I mean, we'll see
at the
end of the year.
Not sure if I'm there. Yeah.
It's hard to compare. But yeah, I mean, all these are super small. Scotty was over 3 at the start of the year, and he's dropped down below 2 at this point just because of his last few finishes compared to the field. But yeah, to your point, I mean, all this is within like, 0.1, 0.02 shots, 0.05 shots.
Yeah, I mean,
it gets lost in the numbers pretty quick. I don't think people realize that and I think that's a different conversation for Showdown because that's a huge benefit. People understand, the good players understand that. Like, okay, he shot 70 today, and this guy shot 66. Well, guess what? The guy who shot 70 is still more likely to beat him tomorrow, but he's going to be
exactly
7% or 5% or 3%, and this guy's going to be 21%. So that is also a fun dynamic. Let's see here. All right, you want to talk about Rose? I know you were asking me about it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think I guess I've seen this in some, kind of other DFS sports, call it. I mean, like football can kind of be a big thing, like in Showdown, which is like, paying up to be contrarian. I just don't know if I can even do that here. I get it, Rose's history. I get it. He just kind of, some guys here, like, Tiger's the best example, they just play it well all the time. But Rose, I mean, 9,100 and his form, like we were talking about, yeah, he won is not really that terrific. I don't really see, I can't really make a case for it.
Yeah, and I honestly have not been too up to speed with TGL, even though I know he made an albatross with their souped-up full swing. Launch monitors. But yeah, I mean, he hasn't been great. So that's not even a sweaty fade, to be honest.
Patrick Reed is one that is only interesting at right under him at 9,000, just because I don't know. One thing on Reed is, I mean, since he's so unlikable, he'll always not be that owned. I mean, I know he's kind of been playing well and he plays well here, and he's overpriced. But I mean, I think I heard Rick Gaiman actually saying this on his pod. It's impressive. I think after following his win, so it'd be like 2019 and on, I think Reed is like in the top 5 best strokes gained player at Augusta of anyone in the field, which kind of checks out. I mean, he seems to always play well here. But
He
again,
does. Yeah.
tough
And
to
it's
play
not
him
from
when,
where
yeah.
it's the opposite of what you would think at Augusta too. I mean, we know around the green's important and putting's important, but to
Oh, he
not be a
breaks the
great
model.
driver
He
is
breaks the model. Yeah, it's
yeah,
just,
exactly. And he's spiked with the irons occasionally, but
I mean, he's cooled
largely
off. He's cooled off. I know he hasn't really been playing either. I mean, I think beginning of the season after he said he was done with Live, I mean, he was on a pretty good run from what I can remember.
he was, yeah, and he played well on the DP World Tour or whatever events he was playing in Africa or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's the tougher decision. I think Rose for me is easy to not play. I think I again, I think everybody has, if they played here long enough, there's some type of good finishes that show up at Augusta, and I'm not sure where you draw the line of like, yes, this is definitely good course history, and that leads to a better result the next year or within the next 3 years versus just, you know what, they're just really good right now, and they're going to play well. And next year they're going to be really good again, and they're going to play well, and has nothing to do with
Yep.
the actual history. I think experience does matter.
Yep.
But yeah, Rose, I think is an easy toss out for me. I mean, I'll probably bet on first round lead or something, and
Exactly. That's what I
probably
did
in
last year.
showdown for sure, but
I
not for
mean, like,
full.
if not to mention, I mean, I think the decision also, it can be as easy as like if you just need a pivot, because I think Hideki right under him, and I like him a lot. I bet Hideki will be uber popular. I think Cameron Young will be really popular above him. I just don't know who's gonna choose Reed over or Fitzpatrick right there. I just don't think anyone's gonna
Well, yeah,
choose.
that back to my point. I think, talking about spending up to be contrarian, I think Rose for me is like an easy toss out. I don't really care.
Yep.
I mean, unless I leave him in and run a bunch of lineups and he's in like 5% and the field has him at 2%, something weird. But like if I'm going through this, I'm not clicking Rose. He's not going to be in my pool. It would be Reed, and that would be a tough decision. But I think at 9K, like to your point, the ownership is going to be reduced. No one wants to pick them. They'd rather play Fitzpatrick, and I get it. Like, yeah, these guys, you see them every week. They're playing well. The casuals don't follow Reed. They probably didn't know he plays golf anymore.
No, and,
So
and when they see his name, like, that guy's an asshole. I don't want to play. Yeah,
yeah.
it's just like and he is. So it's like, plus, I mean, I think one thing I think about sometimes, there's always a perception bump you get to, where the fact that he's 9,000 instead of 8,900 will
Yes,
also inhibit people, because that's apparently a huge deal. So
it can be. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's as fine a line as 9,000, 8,900, but certainly, low nines and then like high eights, there's a different
yep,
perception. And it's easier to get to it. You don't, I mean, I've talked about this for a long time, but like Scotty's price, like you don't play Scotty and you go play Rom. I mean, that's $4,000. That's huge. Like that's literally like 2 6K guys. Now you have 2 8K guys. Like that's a big deal.
it's a massive deal.
And at the end of it, a lot of times people will have a certain amount left, and let's just call it 9,000. And now they have really a small window. They're looking at, Hovland, Matsuyama, Reed. And if, they had 92, they click Cameron Young. So now people get into this weird bucket. So it definitely matters where they get priced. I'm not sure if it's $100 is a fine line, but definitely there's a perception like Reed at 9K. I'll just play Cameron Young. He's 9,200. There's my 9K guy. And now I'll go
Yep.
down. So
Yeah, and maybe that's the thing. It's like the 9K. It's like, I'm going to play 1 9 and 2 8s. Okay, so
yeah,
that means the cutoff is Reed, when really like that could be 87 and above.
yeah. I do think it's that arbitrary. Like people will look at the price tag and look for one or two. And I've talked about that before too, of like if you're gonna hand build something, like I would rather leave, let's just call it 9,400, where I can't fill that. But like I have 5 guys I can pick from instead of having 6,800. And now I have like 20 guys. I don't want any of them, but now I am forced to pick one of them. I'd rather just like, okay, I picked this value. He was 6,900. And now I go up here like, oh, I can't quite get to Cameron Young. You
Yep.
know what? I'll play Victor Hovland this week. Like that feels easier than juggling 26K guys. So
What do you make of that chalk man right there? I can't avoid Fitz. He's playing too well.
yep, I agree. I think Fitz is an easy one. I'm kind of torn on McIntyre. I feel like that was such a good,
Yeah.
such a good shot for him to win, but a good momentum for him to bring to Augusta. I don't know how real the left-handed.
I think
uh, I,
I I think that's perpetuated, and I get it. It's because it favors a right to left ball, and obviously
mhm,
a lefty is more naturally than a right to left ball. That's
yeah.
my thought on it. I don't.
I just think it's easy to single out. I mean, if you go back, like
Yeah,
there's way more right-handers, obviously, but there's also more right-handers playing. So they're just kind of like, oh well, these few left-handers, Mike Weir, Bubba Watson, Phil Mickelson, okay. But
yeah,
honestly, if you look through like Bubba's history, outside of wins, man, he has not been that good. So like I think there's some
no.
like flukiness in that by itself, anyways, and like maybe guys just like it.
I'm always looking for a reason not to play Bobby Max. So if he's gonna be popular, I pivot.
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly, I even rankings aside, I think Fitzpatrick. If I, I, I like to use this stupid analogy from time to time, but like if I had Fitz, I could choose the caddy and I could take whatever they're going to win this week. And Fitz is on the first tee and Robert McIntyre. Like, give me Fitz. I just feel like Fitz is the guy that gets the
100%.
job done. I can trust him. He's going to make good decisions. He doesn't hit into a lot of trouble. He just seems
Yeah,
to play smart, and if he gets into contention, he seems to be able to close it out pretty regularly. So I like Fitz quite a bit in that group. Now, this
yeah.
low 8K is like completely
First of
just
all, I think no one's gonna play this range for what it's worth. I don't know if I like any of these guys either, but I think you're either going Scotty or you're going balance and you're going up there and you're skipping down to the sevens. Maybe not.
probably because I think if you had an opportunity to leave 8,800 or 8,400, you're going to be like, man, I could get up to Fitz instead of
Yeah,
Justin Thomas or Shane Lowry. Like, yeah, let me figure out how I can make that work. So I think I
agreed.
do agree to an extent there. I think
I mean,
Spieth still gets ownership though.
always, yeah. I mean,
Um,
I'm one of the suckers who will probably, even though his price is too much, he's not even playing well, but I'm just a
but
sucker.
he doesn't. He's a weird example of like and again, it probably goes to the point of how small the margins are for any of these guys. And I make jokes about I'll refrain from using a ton of verbs or adjectives, get my English right, on the boots on the ground. But like honestly, I've been around golf for a long time, and I could go to any driving range for anybody playing a practice round, and there's no way you can decide who's going to play well. I mean, Fitzpatrick is doing these weird backstep drills. He's chipping cross-handed. There's no way. I watched him at the Players Championship because I went there this year, and I watched him warm up, and I was like, dude, he's on some other stuff. Like he's really taken this
Hmm.
distance to another level. He's probably going to play awful, and he's like 5 under through 9. Okay, I mean, how would I know that? There's no way. So, and I've been around golf a long time. I think
Yep.
Spieth, if you were to go watch him warm up, or just practice, you're like, man, he has got to be one of the. If you knew nothing, he's one of the best players in the world.
Oh,
Yeah, because he
I was
strikes it.
watching his matches thing on the range tomorrow or this morning. He like stuck like 7 in a row from like 90 yards to the pin, and then he like shanked 2. That's just like what he does. That's just like what
Mhm.
he that's the if you can't handle it, then don't play him.
But who knows? I don't know if it had on video. Who knows if he was like, I'm going to work on my cut wedges
Again, that's what
out
I'm
of the
saying, right?
trees.
Or
Yeah,
he's like JT, watch this. Like he's always
exactly.
messing
Yeah,
around. Like it literally could be something like that. So
yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, again, to my point, like the margins are so small. I think a guy like Jordan Spieth, you go to back to a place that you feel like it's magic land, um, and he could just be psychotic that way. Like I go here and like, this is my heaven. Like everything works out for me here. So I'll
Totally.
definitely be playing some Jordan Spieth. The rest of those guys in that range, I'm probably out on Hatton. I feel like Shane Lowry is going to be super low owned, and I kind of have a feeling I want to play some Lowry. Except Straka, no. JT, I don't know.
Not on
Actually, I
Strava.
haven't really looked at JT too close.
JT is tough. I mean, he came back that bizarrely coming back with Arnold Palmer and missed by 100, but then
Yeah.
comes with I don't know what to make. I mean, the problem with him is okay. I have 2 takes on him. One is like subjective, my weird brain. The other is like stat based. His driving is just so bad. But my other take is I just think he wants to win the Masters and play well so badly every year. It's his own detriment. His obsession with this tournament and playing poorly is just look at the last 3. He just
Yeah,
doesn't know
no.
what I don't know. I just think Tiger made a joke years ago, and I still think it's true that JT doesn't have enough shots. I don't know if he has enough shots.
Any what? Any fat?
He doesn't have enough shots.
Oh, shots? Really?
Yeah, that's what Tiger said a couple years ago. He's like, you need more shots. And JT's like, what? Because he's like one of the better around the green players, and that's what he said.
Yeah.
I was like, Tiger
I
knows
feel
more
like
than
he would
me.
be one with a bunch of shots. I don't
That's
know.
what that was my perception as well. But when Tiger talks, I listen.
Tiger could just be fucking with him like he did with Scotty.
Like, yeah, fucking like you did with the
Like he probably roasted Tiger on some short game thing. He's like, actually, dude, you just need more shots. This is not good. It's like, what are you talking about? I beat you. No, man, it's not going to do good at Augusta. Try better.
Oh, like when he told Scotty, he goes, "Oh yeah, when I'm striping, I don't make divots."
Yeah. Meanwhile, any video of Tiger ever sticking one or hitting a good shot is with a a 2-foot
pelt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, we digress.
Yeah, I don't know about JT. I mean,
he's the only one at Augusta. Like I worry, like with it's kind of the fill thing. Like he can like lose golf balls, which is like.
if we want to really be anal about the shot shape, that's probably part of it. He doesn't hit draws, and I think maybe in some of those holes, guys, which I have seen before, they try harder. And we talked. Again, an anecdote on like Martin Keimer, like guys will do everything they can to get a draw down, and if that's just not their shape, they got to figure out something else and just make it work. But instead of fighting it, and I've seen JT, and again, this is just an anecdote, but like I've seen him try to make those swings on like 13 of roasting a rope hook 3-wood. And it's just like probably just play your shot with a 3-wood to the trees. And if you hit it straight in the fairway, great. If you hit it into the right trees, like it's not a big deal. Instead of trying to rope hook one. So again, we could probably nitpick this and whatever the result is and like, oh, well, we could have tossed it out, or maybe that's some of it. But I do know he hits a hard fade with the driver, and maybe that just kind of bottlenecks him a little bit on some holes.
It's just hard. We skipped over him first. Are you taking the Brooks? Everyone wants him to win.
No, I don't think so, dude. I just don't think it's just not the Brooks yet.
No. Everyone just wants it to be him to be back, and he had that glimpse of the Cognizant, but no.
He's had so many opportunities at this point, in my opinion, to like make his case that like he had his opportunity to be back on the PGA Tour, and he's like, this is the most excited I've been to play golf ever, or in a long time, whatever he said. And I just don't think – I think you would have seen a win at least, if not multiple, if he was playing as good as he wanted to, because it seems like he wants to win. Like he really wants to show that he's really Brooks Koepka. And if this is all he has to show for, dude, I just don't think he's back. I think he's trying as hard as he would this week, to be honest. I think that waste management was like he's been geared up for that for like, 4 weeks or something. And then he's had plenty of chances to do something, and he hasn't had the game together yet. I know the finishes look respectable, but for like Augusta National, dude, I don't think he's back yet.
No, I also don't think in terms of, I know he's this major killer or was or whatever, but I've never thought this was the best course for him to win.
Agree. And he's got the same fade shot too.
Yeah, he does.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, high fades. Yeah, it's obviously a scary. I don't know how scary it'd be. You'd be doing pretty well over the last couple of years at the Masters. Outside of like that was his run of playing really good golf, right? Like 2019.
Yeah, the major killer. Yeah,
right, exactly. 2019, even to 23. But outside of that, no. Short game's been a problem. Putting's been a problem, and that hasn't really changed. Like you can still see with the short game, not much going on. Putting is all over the place. So yeah, I'm out on Brooks. We'll see. If he was cheaper, he'd probably get the ownership steam and maybe double out on him. I don't know. I just feel like this one range is just dead. To your point, I think Spieth is interesting from a course history perspective. And
I think we'll think the same as everyone else. I bet you he'll be the only one with any ownership right there. Maybe
probably. Like if you had 8,500, no one's going to click him.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Goddard is interesting. The debutante thing is kind of concerning. I know I sound like every other person on the podcast, but there is definitely something about knowing how to play here. So I do worry a little bit about Goddard, but he's a stud.
I think from a win perspective, yes, I agree. I think DFS is completely different. I think there's still opportunity for a guy like him to finish in the top 10. Like he could be out of it through Saturday, and then Sunday he goes out and shoots 67 or something and backdoors a top 10, and that could be enough to get someone across the line in some type of contest. Especially if the rest of this range, like Henley's going to be reasonably popular. I'm not sure about Cantley. I'm sure Siwoo Kim will be popular. If those guys all finish worse, obviously, but let's just say like top 20 or worse or miss the cut even, Goddard could be the guy, and it doesn't have to do with the win, which I agree. Having experience matters quite a bit. There's a lot of room in there for a top 10 out of 90 guys. So
I'm curious your takes. I think this is like those next 5 after him. I love that Henley missed the cut last week. Let's keep some ownership off of him. I think everyone's going to love Akshay. I do too. Siwoo. Cantlay. When's the last time he was like relevant?
In like the 2016 Travelers.
Right. So that's where I'm at with that. Basically, my thing on Cantlay is I play a lot of suckers, so like I'm not immune to this. I just feel like I have never been burned by not playing Cantlay.
Yeah. I'm not. We did in that analysis I was telling you about. I can't remember if we did it while we were recording or not. He was the one where his mean was pretty high, but his standard deviation was super low. Where basically he just finishes in the top 20 of every round. Basically, never finishes in the top 3 of any round. So yeah, I don't think the upside is great for Cantlay. I think Siwoo Kim is really interesting to win this week.
I think because I glossed over like Data Golf has him as number 1. I think Min Woo Lee is going to be the chalk bomb in there, and I have no interest in playing Min Woo Lee.
Really?
I know. I'm just not. I think that he's playing well. I get it. I just worry about his iron play's been better. Maybe I'm still caught up that I think his iron game is not consistent enough. But I think I may be still caught in that's old Min Woo Lee. I get it. Like he fits the course great. He's cheap. If he's going to be super owned there, that's probably where I'll pivot. Just because I like Siwoo, I like Akshay, I like Russ.
Yeah.
I will never not play Corey Connors, despite what the numbers tell me. So sounds like you're on the opposite side.
Well, I mean, it obviously depends on how owned. I didn't think he was going to be super chalk with the people around him. I guess in this mid range, there's not a lot to play, but in the range above him, like Siwoo Kim, Henley, Batia, I think they're still going to share a decent amount of ownership. I don't think Corey Connors is going to be that popular. I don't think Jason Day is going to be at all. I don't really care about Jason Day anyways. But I think Siwoo Kim, Min Woo Lee, they're not going to be over-owned, in my opinion. I think both are fine.
No, but I mean, I will. That's like one of my, I don't know, call it my rules. Is I whenever Siwoo is chalk, I never play him. Like there's a couple of these guys where it's like if I do see Siwoo's going to be in like 20, then I'll probably be out. I don't think he'll get to that, but if he is, I'd be kind of out on him.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. I think Batia's. I mean, all these guys are going to get some ownership. It's probably a really good spot for people to land.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at. I mean, Henley. I assume Henley will get a lot of ownership just because he seems cheap compared to where he has been, but I don't know how popular of a player he really is.
Yeah, to be honest, dude, I kind of view him with like the Corey Connors safety, I guess. Like maybe
lack of upside.
Maybe that's cheap enough. Well, like people think of him as being like a safe play. Like he's accurate off the tee, generally speaking. He's decent with the irons. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes.
Yeah.
And if he's cheap enough, then that's always enough. Like, okay, I feel pretty good about him making the cut. Okay. And like we talked about, that doesn't really mean that much this week. So I don't know. 7,900, even though it's a lot cheaper than where he's been, I'm not sure that's cheap enough that people really go crazy overboard for Henley.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking to play him, I think that's still fine. I'm not sure there's really any super advantageous spots in this range, to be honest, that I would feel great about. I think all of these guys are going to be owned a reasonable amount. We'll say low teens, high teens.
Are we fully is Ben Griffin just too broken right now? think I just want him to not be sucking, but he just continues to suck.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of Ben Griffin.
I just think
Once he
he's
says he got
passing. He's
high
just
on
such a
creatine,
dork.
I was out.
That was tough. I just think he's such a dork. It's so funny.
Yeah, I feel like it's like mocking people when it's like
Yeah.
this dude was selling mortgage insurance or whatever, and now he's on the PGA Tour and he's just oh yeah, I like yeah. I'm not a. It's just it's a weird dynamic. Like at least be cool.
Oh, he's definitely not cool. No.
No, it's so weird. Like of all the people, like the people I think of getting on the PGA Tour are like kind of a dick. Like I want you to be like an asshole a little bit.
Yeah, hard
Like
ass.
be Patrick Reed. Like yeah, I was in a fucking mortgage thing and I was out selling all those fucks. Now on the PGA Tour because I knew that Scotty Scheffler was a bitch. And now I'm gonna do that. Like okay, cool. Ben Griffin's over here. Like yeah, I was really feeling lightheaded from the creatine brick that I took. Like dude, shut up. That
Forgot
hurt
about
me
the
so bad.
creatine thing. I forgot about the
That was
creatine
so
thing.
stupid. Oh
So
my
dorky.
gosh. Yeah.
Nikolai, I assume will be popular.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
Bridgman will be popular. I'm not in on Nap, to be honest, dude. I kind
So
of
wow,
cooled off on Nap, so we'll see. Maybe he gets some
I'm not
ownership.
much of a nap guy. I was shocked to hear you say that. I feel like everyone just wants to play him every tournament.
I was very surprised. I mean, yeah, I got it wrong. He played good at what the Texas Children's T6.
Well, he was like out of it on the weekend. He went like -40. He's shot 100 under.
Well, what got me, dude, is everyone knows he's long off the tee. Okay. His off the tee numbers have not been good because he's been crooked. And they go to a course where it rewards distance like nobody's business. And they're like, yeah, we're going to play him. He sucks. And then, yeah, of course, he'll gain 5 strokes putting. And like, I don't think people realize gaining 5 strokes on approach is like massive. Like, that is
just
crazy.
I prefer nap on easier courses. I wouldn't really classify this as an easier course.
I feel like if I had to pick based on him, like where he's at right now, and honestly, there's a little bit of bias off of him at the Cognizant Classic. But I feel like if it's more of an approach course and a little bit shorter, that's like his style.
Totally.
Like, I know he's long, but it doesn't seem like the longer courses he's really benefited from.
I agree. It's like the old. I mean, for a while, I'm trying to think of who was like better at longer or shorter courses. He was a long hitter. I mean, like maybe Finau, and he used to be longer.
Mm-hmm. Look at Sam
Now, right
down here.
now, right below Nap, I always play Harris English. He's my solid guy.
Yep.
Stats he's never that impressive, but no one cares about Harris English, so he never gets played. Sam Burns.
He actually has played it terrible at Augusta, which I'm surprised by. I feel like he would have had at least one finish.
He's like one of the most volatile golfers. It's just impossible.
I haven't gone down this, but I do think it seems like anyways, and I could probably go back to this thing. If you go through like their seasons, like for the full year, you'll see where like they ebb and flow. Like they'll start off slow. So like here, kind of slow through the Florida swing into Texas into Augusta, and then they rip off a bunch of good finishes, and then have a bad stretch, and then they rip off a bunch of good finishes. I think a lot of these guys seem to do that. Like look at Knapp. Knapp has miscuts from Valspar to the Canadian Open, and then all of a sudden he goes on his run. So, yeah, I think they're all volatility to an extent.
That guy you got high
guys in here I like a lot, to be honest. I mean, I have been overplaying Spawn, and now I don't know what I'm going to do after last week. I'll probably
I
but
overplayed him until last week.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam Scott I love. McNeely I do like as well.
So McNeely, in my opinion, I think is the most mispriced in the field.
He should be
just like because I agree, because his game has just been so complete, like gaining across kind of the player, but gaining across the board kind of in his last few on all facets. McNeely is just, I think, very solid. He's kind of like seems to be the Corey Connors value player of the week, but Corey Connors is only down here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's been super, super consistent. And that's
you have any interest in Woodland off that win? Probably not for me. I'll never root against Gary, but
I'll play some Woodland, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I honestly all these guys at least in this low range. I mean, I'll probably play some Penge too, but
Yep.
I double quoted Penge last week, and that that was good
Yep.
by accident. But yeah, I mean, Adam Scott, I like quite a bit. McNeely, you talked about. I've been trying to get ahead of it on Wyndham Clark.
Oh, me too.
So we'll
Hasn't worked.
see. This isn't the best course for him, apparently, but I don't know. I feel like maybe I skip him out here, but I feel like there's going to be a time this year, and I want to be early. So
See, I've been trying to capture what I keep thinking at right below him that Alex Noren at 7,000 is going to pay dividends. His upside, I think, is just not enough. Just he's the only other guy I see at 7 who I like. I mean, I don't mind Ryan Fox, I suppose. Yeah, Noren's. Then I don't know. Like, I mean, would you get into the 6Ks? There's like I said, there's only a handful of guys, and it's probably the same guys everyone else would use.
well, yeah, I mean, like to start the show off talking about most of these guys are just kind of sprinkles. Like you could hand pick a few out. Like to me, and I don't go strictly off of these rankings, but like Kitayama stands out pretty high, and like he does have upside. Like he somehow in big
Absolutely.
events he does really well. I know McKibben is hyped up, and he's a good player. Okay, I'll probably play some McKibben. I'll try to avoid guys that just have been bad. Let's see.
I mean, Aaron
Nick
Riley,
Taylor's
he
been
keeps.
consistent. Carlos
Yeah,
Ortiz.
I'm such a sucker for Nick Taylor. I play him every week. And then Sam Stevens sticks out down there. He can always fail, but he's a good scorer at 6,400.
Yeah. Let's see. Did Brennan bounce back a little bit last week, or was it the week before? Oh, 28th.
Guy who I think would be great for this course, but his form just continues not to be there is Max Grazerman.
Greaserman? Yeah.
Yeah, just that form is a lot to be desired.
So, like down here, this is probably a fun question to pose. Obviously, these guys down here, and these are all, it's just so weird to say this, but like, because they're all PGA Tour players, but like these guys aren't as well rounded as the top guys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, let's just say, make the assumption that these guys down here have like one or two at most good assets that they can bring. Let's say it's either driving or driving's erratic, their approach is okay. Okay, maybe around the green and putting is their strength. You know, I don't think putting is gonna move the needle for me, but maybe like talking through off the tee and approach. Let's just say like a Johnny Kiefer versus Nico Echevarria. Those are two completely different types of players. Would you split it between either of those kind of looks? Because I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but if we go through each of their profiles, Nico's not going to be gaining a lot off the tee, and Kiefer's going to be the opposite. And I think Kiefer's with his driving would probably be more interesting. I think there's probably more upside with that.
We kind of discussed this offline a couple of days ago. I mean, I would imagine that the kind of lead in, call it correlation, whatever, has definitely moved more in the last several years towards an importance off the tee versus approach. Or is that not? Is that not?
That
because
is true. Yeah.
I just feel like the tiebreaker also, used to be, I mean, Augusta's so unique in that there's no like approach bucket. You just got to be a good approach everywhere. Whereas that seems like that's got to be the, price of admission, and you have to have something off the tee. You have to be adding something off the tee, which is why Reed breaks the model.
Correct. I think that's where I stand. Like if I had to build a player and I could, weight it, and I only have so much to weight, obviously you probably want to equally weight everything. I would start with off the tee first. Like give me someone like a Nico, not Nico Echevarria, Hogard, like someone with some distance that they can play with, and then try to tune it from there.
My example is just because he just top of mind would be like if I was choosing and they were the same price, kind of whatever last guy in between Sam Stevens and like Andrew Putnam, I'm going to choose Sam Stevens every time because I know Putnam's going to be nothing off the tee.
Correct. Yep. I agree with that. Carlos Ortiz is interesting. I don't know if you've looked at his live stuff.
I have. How do you deal with parsing the live stuff? I mean, when you look at the Wikipedia type view like you have here. It's like, oh wow, 6th and 8th, but he's playing.
Well, the finishes don't matter so much.
Seven real
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
No, the finishes don't matter so much. Definitely just trying to look through their data and see.
So Ortiz played here multiple times. Played here once.
I have 0 for him.
Damn.
So like the live stuff's the live stuff's confusing, mainly because you have random guys like Neiman that beat Bryson, and then when they play together in any other type of event, Neiman just doesn't show up.
Right.
So I don't know the proper way to weight any of that, because obviously Bryson's or Rahm are both very good, and they're good here or on live, US Open, whatever. You have a guy like this. I mean, this is good. These are good numbers. These are really good numbers. But how does that translate to Augusta? I don't know. Because the last time he played a major was the US Open, I think. And he finished T4. And he was coming off of really good results off of live. So it's a completely different course, obviously. But I mean, it's worth something. It's worth something.
I'm putting him down on my list. I had not considered him. The underlying numbers are better than I would have assumed.
Yeah, they're real good. And like I said, the strokes gained isn't field adjusted like for the field, but like you can run all of these numbers. These are all field adjusted. So like in the last 6 months, roughly, what was he at? Yeah, we'll call it 6 months. Probably a little bit too far back, but we'll call it 6 months. If we go down to where he was and strokes gained total right here. What was he, 64?
64, I think, yeah.
I think maybe.
Or wait, was he no, he's 66.
66. Okay. Yeah, right here. So he's 32nd in the field in field adjusted strokes gained total. So he's like above average, considering the fields on live are a little bit weaker from top to bottom.
$600 from the min. That's the one differentiating 6K guy.
And honestly, his tee to green number is 15th. So the numbers are good. The numbers are definitely good for Ortiz. How that translates to Augusta, I don't know. But as far as wanting to play somebody, I could not with a reasonable conscience say like, I just can't play him because it's live and who knows.
Yep.
I would be kind of pissed on Sunday when he finishes T4 like he did at the US Open last year.
US Open, seriously.
But yeah, outside of that, I don't think anyone cheap I'm super interested in. Davis Riley finished T10 or something last year out of nowhere. I have no idea how you find any of that stuff.
You can predict that. That'd be really impressive.
Exactly.
I could see people going to Michael Kim. I was going to say he's fine.
He just kind of kept the hot hand, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's so full of himself. He probably, he's going to be tweeting about Augusta's.
I like when he does his Twitter stuff, not Augusta-wise. Like, just keep it to,
Everything's about him, though.
No comment. I know. All
right. Any final thoughts? We went much longer than we anticipated, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I ended up
the only thing I don't remember what your thoughts were. You're in on Bryson or you're not in on Bryson?
I'm low on Bryson. I'd probably play Rahm in place of Bryson for whatever extra shares I would have gotten.
Yep.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah,
he'll get some ownership.
I think also sometimes people confuse. It's like I don't think he's a bad play in any regard. I just would rather play Rahm. I'd rather play Wood.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously, if you had zero exposure and he, is inside the top 10 on day one, he's pretty live to win this event. But if Rahm was in the top 10, I feel like he's more live.
I guess my only question for you, before I get out of here, is who's your winner? Do you have one yet?
Let's see. A winner, I'll pick one.
I guess we should go to the without Scotty market.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna. Yeah. For that, I'm not gonna pick Scotty. I mean, we kind of made fun of him already. I think Aberg gets across the line.
I like that. That's someone. See, as this pod has gone on, I'm more and more in on Aberg.
Yeah, I just don't think not closing on a couple Sundays is like completely throwing him out. Just like the start of the year we talked about. Like, yeah, he had a rough start to the year. He doesn't mean he's going to be on the Corn Ferry Tour in like 6 months. And then now all of a sudden he's one of the best players in the world again. Okay. How do we swing this that far left to right?
Right.
I mean, Rom is obviously really live, but I think, not someone who's completely obvious. I do think Aberg has the history here and has all the weapons. And who knows? I mean, honestly, it could just be getting lucky. We'll see what the weather holds. It looks like it's going to be pretty windy in the AM, both Thursday and Friday, and I think Saturday or Sunday too. So it could be kind of dicey. And maybe he gets like a 6-shot lead or something. And he just has to hold on.
Coast. I could see it.
Which he kind of had to do, I guess, at the Players, but that didn't work out. But I think he's got everything he needs. Who's your pick?
I'll go, just not like be number 1 or 2 on the golf tips check, but I guess I'll go Hideki. I think Hideki gets the second win.
Okay.
And it's not because I think he's playing the best. I mean, yeah, I think Hideki wins. Firm and fast, no weather. Gets up and down from it. God, if I could have Hideki's around the green game. God, so he's not. Wow, that's scary. Now that I just realized he's not missed a cut in 10 years, it's terrifying.
Yeah, and the course ID doesn't match up, so the 2021 doesn't show up in here.
Man,
the COVID year was a cluster.
Yeah, that's when Mike Weir was. That's when Mike Weir was making the cut.
And Trevor Immelman was still playing. God, is he still playing? I don't think he's still playing.
I don't think he plays anymore.
I didn't think I saw it. He's just commentating.
Yeah, he got the second best gigs to do the announcing. Jeez. Barely even gained. Of course, he barely even gained any strokes putting too.
Yeah.
See, this is why you play Jordan Spieth every year, and this is like this stuff.
And look at that. It's like the opposite of what you would expect.
Literally, yeah.
He should have won.
Wow.
Yeah, he still sucked.
I wish Cam Smith was still relevant. That was my guy. He doesn't care about golf anymore.
No. Sad.
It is sad.
What a leaderboard back then.
Webb.
Yeah, Webb Simpson. It's actually not too bad at the top. Mark Leishman out of nowhere. Dude, he has got to be one of the most like overachievers in golf. In my opinion. Is how bad he is.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's had chance to like win majors. He's like had chance to win majors, like the Open, I think.
Yeah. I don't know how they're both so bad at driving in Australia. You got Adam Scott, who's just pure. You got Leishman, who can't hit a 3-wood on the map, and you got Cameron Smith, who couldn't hit a 6-iron on the map.
Yeah, I think if people really look back at that Players win, I think you realize just how crazy that was. Didn't he lose like 7 strokes off the tee or something? It was something ludicrous.
What year was that? 22? Yeah. Yeah, 5.19. It was in a nice string of events there too.
I think I just like guys who are anomalies. He's one. It's like, how are you possibly successful with a driver like that? Man.
He was able to hit it from the trees with some very generous baselines, apparently.
And then never miss a putt.
Yeah. 11 strokes. You gained 12 strokes putting. That's a lot. Oh my God. Three per round. Like gaining 3 in the event is pretty good. 3 per round. Let's see what it was. Actually, do I have the years down here? Right here, 22. Yeah, he gained 3, 4. Not very good in round 3. Only 69 with gaining nothing, and then gained 4 strokes in the last round.
Oh my word!
That's like such a hard course to lose that many strokes.
When you see all that red,
but
like he must have lost 17 golf balls.
You would think it's got to be penalizing because, like, that's of course you're not losing strokes off a distance. Everyone's kind of hitting into the same spot. So, like, to lose that much off the tee, you're missing every fairway, and you must be hitting like 2 water balls around.
I mean,
That's a
you
lot.
could not. I feel like you could not win the Masters losing off the tee, could you?
No,
I think so.
no, it's official. He can't win the Masters. He can't not losing 6 strokes or even 1 stroke off the tee around. Crazy. All right, dude. Well, I appreciate it. I'll post this out for everybody. I know we talked about a lot, but any final thoughts or anything you want to plug? Appreciate your time today.
No, do it again sometime. Let's win. I assume this is like, it's almost been 10 years. So I assume you're going to win another milli this week.
Gonna try.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the goal. We'll see what the 400K is so crazy.
Way too many people.
Because the one I won was $20 and it was like 110,000 people, I think. 400,000 is like
not even a dime in the rough.
I mean, it's still better than like the lotto, but it's just, yeah. Like, you want to be different, but then, like, you know that being different here doesn't really pay dividends that often. I mean, I was looking back through. I didn't pull like the last couple milli makers at Augusta, but like looking back through like around late 2000, like 17, 18, 19, 20, it was like 80% to 100% ownership. Some ownership.
Yeah, dude, it's gotten. Yeah, I mean, it's gotten a little bit sometimes like football almost, where it's like you have to play one of the chalk guys because he's going to do well. It's so annoying.
Well, I just don't think.
It's not how I play.
In this field too, there's no one that's going to be so low owned. That's like, it's a smaller field anyways. The pricing is pretty accurate. So like, there's not going to be super chalk. I don't think like no one's going to be like 33% owned. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think anyone's going to be like 30 to 35% owned in any spot. And there's not going to be any like studs that are like, 3% owned. Everyone's going to be 7 to 8 plus.
I think the only guys that'll basically like would dip would be Rory, and he'll still be like 12, 15 probably, and then Morikawa, and that's because of an injury. That's not even because,
right. So like, there's really, you couldn't even set a rule to be like, yeah, I want to max it at like 60% some ownership. Like your lineups are just going to be playing 6K guys. Like you couldn't. I don't think you could build a lineup, a decent lineup using all the salary and be under 60%.
What I just know is going to happen is it's going to come Wednesday, and I'm like, I'm too scared not to play Scotty in my single entry. I just have to do it.
I don't know how he's so owned in single entry.
Because people get scared like I do.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like he's higher owned than I even expect. Because like, I'll go through it, and you could start a lineup with him, or you could start him and try to like play him last, and it's really uncomfortable. Like, you have decent plays in the 7Ks and the 8s that you can play, and instead you're playing Sam Stevens instead of.
No, I was messing around with it before we got on. It's like you put in Sam Stevens in like 4 or 3 low 7s, and you can get like 179 8K guy. Like, you can't get anyone who's good.
Yeah, I tinkered with it yesterday. If you play Scotty, the average for the next 5 spots is 70 to 100, I think.
Yeah, which is just, and that's why I think like Mav will get so owned.
I think that's probably the angle that matters most, is playing a guy like Scotty. Most of the pairings are probably going to be very similar. Yes. Totally. So I think that's probably where just the combinations do matter quite a bit. So you can throw in some if-thens, I guess. Like, if Scotty, then do not play Mav.
Do not play Mav.
Or Adam Scott.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially the guys that are right there, low 7s. Probably Woodland, Spawn, McNeely, Adam Scott. Yeah. That'll help you quite a bit.
You literally do like those. Yeah. I mean, then you're going to lead into like Jacob Bridgman. Yeah, it's just. Yeah. Then you go to 7,800 and play a chalk at Akshay Bhatia, and then that's how you get to 197% ownership.
Yep, exactly. Yep,
I mean,
the 6 guys are in the winning lineup. So then you're like, well, I just could have played 2 more chalk guys and never even thought about it.
So easy.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to keep you. I know you said you had a run earlier, so I don't mean to Holy
Yeah.
year.
No, I do. I had more time than I thought, but we'll close it out there. Sam, I appreciate it, man. Best of luck this week. We'll be in touch.
For sure. This is fun.
All right, dude. Well, good luck.
Have a good one. Talk.
All right. See you, dude.
See ya.